Thanks for joining Scene Squad. I'm your host, political and cultural critic Sharron with two R's, and I'm joined this lovely day with my co-host and financial guru Rosalie, and you're listening to Seen and Heard podcast. Welcome to Seen and Heard podcast, where everyone should be seen and heard. And to start off, we have, it's late breaking news because it happened a few days ago, but they finally got him. The Catch Me If You Can, they finally got him. I'm going to play this clip and then we are going to talk on the other side.
Eyewitness was people cheating on their spouses.
What?
Yeah.
No.
Well, in the matter I saw, it was very strange to me. When two married people are cheating on both their spouses when they're back home as they're supposed to be serving in Congress, that felt gross.
Members of Congress, staffers, who?
Members of Congress cheating on their spouses with one another.
Really?
Yeah, that's how bad it is in D.C.
Wow. So let's look.
And that's going to get me a lot of heat.
They finally got him.
Yep, he was sentenced to 7 years for pleading guilty to wire fraud and malicious identity theft, or just identity theft in general. Wire fraud and identity theft. He's not who he says he was. He did campaign finance violations like crazy because he said he was a person he wasn't, and then still took campaign donations for it. I forgot. Frankly, I'm gonna be really honest. Like when the story broke that he had been sentenced, I was like, oh God, yeah, George Santos. I forgot about George Santos. That was my take on it. It's like so much has happened that like he's actually not the craziest story come out of DC in the last couple of months, years, whatever. So.
And they had to get him out of there because he was spilling little secrets like that. And the last time that happened was, I'm sure everybody forgot about this one, was Madison Cawthorn. Madison Cawthorn. He was the politician that served U.S. representative from North Carolina. And he was running, whenever it was that it was a couple of years ago, he was running for re-election. And he came out and said that his fellow Republicans had orgies and cocaine parties. As soon as he leaked that out, he didn't mean to leak it out. I guess he was drunk. They have a habit of going to work drunk. So as we see with Hegseth, so he leaked that out. And as soon as that happened, that's when all these pictures came out of him in compromising positions with other men and in lingerie. And then he lost his election. He lost his seat. So I just wanted to remind y'all that, he had that happened before George Santos. But
as I've been saying for years and years, I really do wish that these Republican lawmakers would just let their freak flag fly. I really do wish they would just let themselves be exactly who they are publicly so that we could all move on with our lives, because the self-hate is the reason we're all here. It's like, why can't y'all just be a little funky, funky and fresh? And why can't you do it publicly? I think they're afraid of freedom. Like, that's the thing about what they're voting for, is they're so scared to just be who they are that they just vote against their own best interests and then also shut down Grindr everywhere they go. Like,
and this is a message for Miss Lindsey Graham.
Be what you are. Be what you are. It's actually like okay to be whatever you are. It's fine.
Miss Lindsey Graham, you hear that?
Ma'am. Miss JD, Miss Vance. Miss Vance.
Yeah, Miss they are clowning him in China. Those Chinese netizens are clowning him in his eyeliner. Speaking of eyeliner, I wanted to show off my new specs here.
Yes, I love you.
Look, I get the red. The cherry blossoms in red.
You're gorgeous.
So, just in case anyone is interested, I'm going to show this screen once again with the picture with the code. And you guys, I'll have the link also in the description. So you can go here and it's optical factor and click on this or copy and paste and then use the code TragedyAnn_7 at checkout and you get 10% off of your frames of whatever color you want. So this is red and you see those are the white.
Can you do those as sunglasses too?
You could do them as sunglasses and you can also
Yes.
do
I
them
feel
in
like that style would be amazing as a sunglass.
sunglasses, and they have these are reading glasses. I got the reading lenses. They also have prescriptions, so if you have a prescription, they do prescriptions as well. So, and they have men's and they have children's. So there's something for everyone. I just wanted to, the eyeliner conversation just kind of reminded me of the specs. So, but yeah, so Miss Lindsey Graham, just come on out already. Allegedly, I'll say allegedly. We have to throw that in there. Allegedly.
Just again, just be who you are. Like, be who you actually are. Stop being so scared and hating yourself for who you actually are that you need to harm the people around you, because it's old. It's tired. I've told so many people, and a lot of people, I brought this to light, is that the most homophobic people that you'll find out there tend to be people who have not acknowledged who they actually are when it comes to that. And they tend to be exactly the thing that they're voting against. Exactly. I'll just say that much. Allegedly.
Now, moving on, we are moving on to Burkina Faso, the president of Burkina Faso. Leave that man alone. That's all I have to say.
Yes.
That's all I have to say is leave that man alone. So in case anyone is confused as what's going on with Burkina Faso, we will I'm going to play a couple of videos and then we're going to talk on the other side. But this has been going on for a while. And this young man, and I say young man because he's 33, 34 years old. He has survived. He survived already 18 attempts against his life. 18. So this man needs to be left alone, but I'm going to play this first video here so we can get you all caught up.
We're all very clear on why they're going after Ibrahim Traoré and Burkina Faso. It's because Ibrahim Traoré is going to give Africans free education. And because Ibrahim Traoré is doing the right thing by his citizens and making sure that people there have a home. Ibrahim is looking out for the people of Burkina Faso, not himself. He is becoming extremely popular amongst the youth across the African diaspora. So it is no surprise to me that they are now trying to take this man out, because your accusations are definitely not working. And even the president of South Africa has stated they reject your allegations against Captain Ibrahim Traoré. The bottom line is the French and America are being pushed out of these people's resources, which is only fair. The audacity of the West to think that they should have some rights to anything this president has in his country is crazy. Because if anyone were to come to America and stake claim over our resources, we would lose our shit.
The world's youngest head of state, Captain Ibrahim Traoré of Burkina Faso, is grappling with persistent coup attempts. The latest plot was announced by the government on Monday night. Since coming to power in September 2022, Captain Ibrahim Traoré has faced several attempts to overthrow him. On the latest foiled attempt, Burkinabe Security Minister Mahamoudou Sana said that the country's intelligence services had intercepted communications on a major plot for an assault on the presidency on April 16th. It is said the plot was orchestrated from Abidjan, the capital of neighboring Côte d'Ivoire. Côte d'Ivoire has not commented publicly on the matter. The announcement came just a week after several army officers were arrested and stripped of their duties. Back in January 2024, the authorities announced that they had thwarted another coup attempt by a network of military personnel, some retired, some active and civilians, who conspired to destabilize the institutions of Burkina Faso. It said some of the people behind the plot were arrested. Earlier in September 2023, the government said a coup attempt was foiled by the security services. There have been no reported convictions in court over the alleged coup attempts. Burkina Faso's transitional president, Ibrahim Traoré himself, came to power following a military takeover. His government has teamed up with Niger and Mali to form the Alliance of Sahel States, AES. This move marked a significant shift as these three countries broke away from the West African regional bloc ECOWAS, accusing it of leaning towards Western powers and failing to help them tackle rising insecurity. They have also cut military and diplomatic ties with France, their former colonial ruler, and expelled French troops from their territories. They strengthened ties with alternative partners, including Turkey and Russia. The military-led West African countries have repeatedly accused Western powers, particularly France, of attempts to destabilize them through neighboring countries. Despite these challenges, Captain Traoré remains in power, but the frequency of coup attempts raises questions about the stability of the region.
Young man, yes. He was born in 1988. That's the same year as my oldest son. He was
Yeah,
born
so
in
he's 37.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah.
But when he came to power was the age that you were talking about, like 33, 34.
Mm-hmm.
So that's, I was like, I think you got the age that he came to power correct on that one, but I had to double check the age. But yeah, he's a millennial.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the only millennial leaders, world leaders in the entire world. I want to point out that people are going to point to the fact that he turned to Russia, and how could you align yourself with somebody who is doing the horrible things that are happening to the Ukrainians? And yes, what we're not going to do is pretend that aligning yourself with any world leader is going to align you with somebody who is doing the right things by everyone, because I don't think that you become a world leader but without stepping on necks to get there. However, what we're not going to do is sidestep the fact that the alternative option that he had was the colonizing power that has reigned supreme, France and the United States. And in all fairness, if you leave people with no other option but to run into the arms of your enemy, that's where they're going to run. Maybe we don't create an environment where people feel like they need to run into the arms of another monster to get away from you. Maybe that's the question we should be asking people, instead of trying to hold this man who is just trying to do the best he can for his people accountable for the problems that the rest of the world created.
And I don't appreciate
that comes down on him for that type of thing, and I won't hear it because he's another Gaddafi type character in for Middle Eastern politics and Libya, what they saw in Libya. And he's already made comments like they're going to do exactly to me what they tried to do with him. And they're going to try and put an uprising together and get the people riled up if they can't take me out directly. And so what we're probably going to see in the months and years to come is them trying to sow dissent within the people so that they will overthrow him and they can install a puppet government like they have in other countries, like they did in Libya. And I think he needs to be protected at all costs. He needs to know we need to keep our eyes on him. Africa deserves leadership that is willing to go against the grain, and he's an amazing example of that. And
this is infuriating, the fact that they're using one of our people to attack this man. This is Langley. He's the United States General. Yeah, trying to scold him about his own country. It's like, it's just like with the Ukraine. How dare you come into someone else's house and say, we want your resources, and then you just need to thank us for taking your resources. No. And then the fact that they're using a black face to do that, that's just...
They will never allow white faces to be the face of white supremacy if they can avoid it, because then they don't have to reckon with the fact that it is white supremacy tactics.
Exactly.
That they're employing. We see it time and time again. I mean, that's the reason why Kash Patel is the head of the FBI. You know what I mean? That it's the reason why they're why the person at the UN who kept voting against the resolutions for a ceasefire in Gaza was a Black woman, right? It's not lost on me that it's so insidious. I've made so many videos about this. It's like probably one of my, like, it's the part that one of the most frustrating things for me, and I can't imagine what it's like to actually be the community being harmed by, like, it. If it's upsetting to me, I cannot even begin to imagine.
I mean, I got nauseous every time they raised their hands at the UN. Like, it physically made me ill. And then anytime I hear a politician saying, Izzy has a right to defend themselves, like, no.
Literally, actually, according to the law, they don't. They actually, occupying power does not have the right to defend themselves.
I don't want to hear that. Yeah, I don't want to hear that. And I'm not going to support, like, Bernie Sanders saying that all that. I'm not supporting him. I don't, for me personally, when he says that, I don't take anything else that he says seriously. I don't actually want to hear anything else he has to say once he says that. I like switch it off or whatever. I don't want to hear it. Right. I'm not taking you seriously.
It's heartbreaking that we can't, like, that we're really truly going to go down with the ship when it comes to Israel. And that is because Israel, if you think about it, is I say kissing cousins of the British Empire. It's an offshoot of the US Empire at this point. And not that other European, like, Western powers aren't contributing to what they're doing. They absolutely are. But it's, without the United States, there wouldn't be an Israel anymore. And at least in the state that it's in, because without the colonial settler colony, the biggest and baddest settler colony on earth, having your back, they wouldn't be able to wreak the havoc they have and give them access to all those trading routes and all the resources and where the all of that.
Were and the Sinners movie.
I'm sorry, I rushed the video here. Hold on a second. Wait. Okay, so for context, I'm sorry. I'm the
producer. To be cut off.
Look, if you guys could send like some donations, and that's what the donations are for as well. It's like I could hire a producer because I'm the producer as well. So apologies. And I wasn't trying to like cut you off or anything. I was trying to get the next video queued up. So
you're doing great.
Okay, so basically, for context, this video that we're getting ready to play has to do with a new movie that's out called Sinners. So there was a lot of commentary going around between especially the Black and the Latino community, per usual, which we really should, stop doing all this. But this TikTok user, I'll have his name in the description box so you guys can go follow him. He is basically discussing how some Latinos are demanding representation within, Black lit or directed movies or written movies. And there's the discourse that, well, like in my case, I've never seen Black people or the Black community demanding representation on Telemundo. So we'll talk on the other side of this, and you guys let us know what you think.
Latinos were, and the Sinners movie is the equivalent of me asking where the Black people were in Selena. You should be asking yourself why the Latinos were at the polls voting for Trump instead of asking a Black director why there are no Latinos in his movie.
Lord, again, again. Nothing new, nothing changed, same old shit. Same.
Now, if you guys are going to come online, which you never do, you never have the accurate historical context, you never have accurate facts, and you don't ever do research. There were no Mexicans in Mississippi during that time due to the Mexican Repatriation Act, which expelled most Mexicans from America, especially the Delta, and sent them back to where? Mexico. Most Latinos that are making these videos are the same people that have a problem if indigenous Latinos or Afro Latinos are represented in telenovelas or Latin films because they're not Latino enough. I'm just saying. Do you guys not see the madness that you're doing right now? It's literally absurd, and to flip-flop, because Ryan Coogler is the only person that actually told the Native story and included Native people in his films when he didn't have to. This movie is about black people, made by black people, about black people in a time where black people were black in the South. Asians are in there because they are a part of that story, and it matters. This trend amongst other people of color or other groups in the world, which they don't want to let black Americans have anything. Like, black Americans did this. If the media says black Americans, well, why didn't they do this? Or they didn't really create that, or they don't have code. Like, what is the issue? What is the issue? No other black person on earth has to defend themselves this much. This apple will make me lose my mind. Why doesn't anyone actually do research? It takes 2 seconds to Google anything and actually formulate an opinion based on facts, not feelings. Facts, not feelings. Facts, not feelings. Oh, mamá huevo.
So have you've been seeing a lot of the discourse? Like, I haven't seen the movie, and I'm not saying that I'm like a hater of the movie, but like I like the commentary around the movie. I just personally am a forever boycotter of Hollywood, of Netflix, of Amazon, of Target. I'm boycotting. So I'm standing 10 toes down on that. So if somebody sends me a link where I could watch it and I don't have to, give Hollywood any money, I'll watch it.
Fair enough. I think that there is. I think we're yet again at that point where people need to really unpack how to read the room. First of all, like, inside thoughts don't always need to be outside thoughts, right? It's actually okay to feel like you want representation in something without opening your mouth to say anything about it. I know that sounds crazy. White people should try that too. That would be amazing, actually. Because it's important to center the voices that have never been centered as well. Why are we always needing to split hairs when it comes to Black people putting together something that is meant for Black people? It's okay for Black people to have things. It's okay. It doesn't even mean that we have to have less. In fact, if anything, because Black people and people, I know I'm speaking from a white perspective, like, we are such a minority. White people are such a minority in the rest of the world, and we've created an artificial minority in the United States. That it has permeated into other cultures, and we have created such a nasty white supremacy culture has such a nasty grip on everybody in so many different ways and so many different layers. And I can't speak for the communities that I'm not a part of, but it's frustrating to see it even from my end. So I can't even imagine what it must be like to constantly have to kind of defend why it's okay. I think the closest I can get in that discourse is the misogyny conversation, right? And understanding in that sense the nuance there, in the same way that when you think about the white community and the Black community, and the patriarchy is a huge part of the white supremacy culture. And so maybe that's a piece that I can kind of understand. Every time women want to do something that is just for women, all of a sudden, why can't we, when women want to talk about violence towards women, now all of a sudden we need to talk about men's mental health. They can't have those conversations on their own. They must, every time we want to mention what might happen to us, now we need to talk about what's happening. And I think that that's very much, it feels the same. It feels a very similar font to what we're seeing here.
And that's a way to derail the issue at hand. Like,
right.
That's because that way they can exhaust you.
Right.
Because once you get off track, and you start focusing on that, they can exhaust you, keep you
Right.
on that hamster wheel. Then you're too tired to go back to the, well, some people may be too tired. I
Yeah.
get exhausted. I have to be very selective in how I respond.
White supremacy culture is a
Hmm.
lack mindset.
Hmm.
It is there will never be enough. I am not enough. The world is not enough. I always have to fight to be at the top because there isn't enough. When the reality is there's enough space and grace for every single person on this planet. In the minute that people figure that part out, we're not going to have this stupid discourse.
Hmm.
There's so much more to this world if we just let everybody have the space to be exactly who they are in their lane. Stop trying to be in everybody's lane. You have too much to do. You can't be in all the lanes at once, and that's okay. I'm
Hmm.
okay with being on the outskirts of conversations that don't belong to me. I got too much else to do. I'm busy. Are you guys not busy?
It's like helping other people does not take as much energy as causing destruction and destroying.
The amount of progress that we have cost ourselves in this country by not allowing Black people to just thrive in their element, I will never forgive. I will never forgive. The things that we could have cured, the advancements in technology that we've held ourselves back from, the shooting ourselves in the foot constantly for the sake of a hierarchy,
Hmm.
drives me nuts. And again, can't imagine what it's doing for people with even more intersections than I have.
It's exhausting.
Yes.
I'm tired, but what keeps me going is looking for obituaries. That keeps me that keeps me waking up every morning because I'm just thinking,
Just
I
looking.
mean, all the grief that I've gone through, at least I deserve
Let's get right down to brass tacks
at
about it.
least I deserve the obituary that I want.
And you shall have it. And you shall have
Hey,
it.
look, yes,
Yeah.
I am Buddhist. I'm a work in progress. And that's why I said it as nice as possible,
Not
as
you
nice
looking
as I
directly in
could.
the camera while you say it.
As nice as I could, as nice as possible. Nama Buddhaya.
That's fair. That's fair. I, I'm not cursing anymore, but I'm gonna do one of these just in case.
And on that, we're gonna.
This is fun.
on, on that, we're gonna close out because you know what, I want to go more into detail on our next show about the nuances around what was that you were just saying?
We said a lot. A lot was said. We always wind up going off on this tangent and then just like not getting to half the stuff we talked about before the show, just so everyone's aware. Like half the stuff we're like, yeah, we'll cue this up, it'll be fine, and then we just rabbit hole, just go straight into the rabbit hole every time. So
we'll figure it out. Okay, so please don't forget to thumbs up the video. Please let us know what you think because we have a voicemail. We want to play your voice mail messages and questions on the air. We want you more engaged. Leave support us with a donation, which would help us greatly. That maybe I can get a real producer. And we won't have so many bloopers. And we will see you guys on the next one. Bye.
bye.
Chris, just describe what it is like there in the square, because I was just overcome. The tens of thousands of people from all around the world, and they're relatively quiet, waiting for this moment as they're thinking about what Pope Francis meant to them. Loud applause for President Zelensky of Ukraine. Wow. The crowd is erupting for Zelensky.